Hey, what's up? Award Travel 101. Great to see everybody this evening. Wow, I'm tired, but I had an absolutely amazing trip recently, and I am ready to go do some live award booking demonstrations. So, let's get down to it. Didn't have time to schedule another topic for this evening. Everybody thought this was a great idea just a little bit ago, so I want you to immediately start telling me in the comments where you would like me to search, what routes you want me to take a look for. I'm going to do some screen sharing, so hopefully you get just a little bit more experience about how the super nerds like myself jump in there and go after exactly what we want. I'm going to do a few tech here so that hopefully we won't have any troubles. Go ahead and give me those routing suggestions in the comments as I take a peek at the folks we have tuning in. I see Gig Harbor, Washington. That is right where I used to live, right there in Silverdale. I really like the nicknames they have for people up there. I'm going to try and get this countdown clock off of my face if we can do that. And now we're going to switch over. There we go. All right. Good to go. Hey, ski somewhere with sunshine from Buffalo. Hey, I heard that. Kingwood, Texas. Never heard of it, but I enjoy Texas. So I got a few comments over in the group. This is on the page. Remember, all of our videos are available for replay anytime on the YouTube channel, award.travel/YouTube. That's it. A lot of events coming up. April 29th, Orlando, Florida is going to be our boot camp. If you're just starting, if you're a little bit confused, or if you're a little overwhelmed with this fire hose of information that we throw at you, I need you to come to my boot camp, 4 hours. You're hanging out with me and moderator Tony. We're going to teach you everything you need to know to get started on the right track, to protect that credit score, and to make sure you can reach your travel goals using points and miles. Click on the events tab in the group. Click on Orlando Boot Camp, and all of the details are there. All right, so I got some good suggestions going on here. Like always, introduce a bourbon. I am drinking some delicious Blanton's here in my copper mug. No, it's not a Kentucky Mule. I wish it was. Just a little bit of bourbon on the rocks. Again, Blanton's. If you're not a fan of Blanton's, I highly suggest you become one. All right, let's go over into screen share mode while I look at these routing suggestions that you have going on. I'm going to pull up my browser with all of our nice airlines pulled up. I do have some things that I'm going to show you in addition to your request. I'm going to take this logo off so that people can see it. Let's remove this overlay. Boom, even bit better there. All right, first one I see here, we have Hong Kong to Atlanta business class using membership rewards or ultimate rewards. Really need close in backup options. All right, so here we go. Hong Kong to Atlanta. What would I do? Remember, the first thing I always go to is our nice Wikipedia page for the Atlanta airport, even though I live near Atlanta. Just because I want to make sure that I impress the point upon you here, let's go ahead and take a hard look at Hartsfield-Jackson International Airport. If you're not familiar with the Wikipedia page layout for every airport in the world, it's the exact same. It gives you the background up at the top, and I'm interested in airlines and destinations. All right, this is going to give me a quick idea to make sure I haven't forgot anybody. Again, very familiar with everybody that flies to Atlanta being my home airport. But going to Hong Kong, I'm going to take a look here and make sure there's nobody I forgot. First thing that jumps out at me is Korean Airlines. That is Chase Ultimate Rewards. Connecting through Seoul, of course. Pretty good availability. So that's probably where I'm going to start. So let's head over to the good old Korean Air website. I'm going to take this tab off while I log in so that nobody can steal my password. You do have to log in with Korean to get that going. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Really easy to transfer, mostly instantaneous. Remember, with Korean Airlines, if you're going to book a family member, you need to go ahead and set up your family account. You can quickly email in or fax in the forms that they require, and it's no big deal. You just don't want to be caught at the last second and not prepare with that. All right, so here we go. We're going to go from Hong Kong down to ATL, making sure you can see this. Yes, I believe you can. I think your date said sometime in April. Let me go back and take a quick peek. Yeah, that's just around the corner. Who is this? This is Ben Oliver looking for a flight in just a couple weeks. Hey, I wrote the other day about something happening to Korean space that I didn't like. You want a business class? That's what they call prestige. And we're going to click and find the flights and hopefully get something good going on here for you starting off. Keep throwing those routes up in the comments. I'm taking a mental note of them as we go, and let's see, hopefully there's something good going on for Hong Kong to Atlanta. Chase Ultimate Reward Transfer Partner, Korean Airlines. Unable to find anything. That's what I'm telling you. There's something going on new with Korean Airlines. I don't like it. Up until maybe 6 weeks ago, you never saw this screen before. There was going to be one day that had availability going on here, and Korean has just really locked it down. It's not pretty. It's not good. Really don't like it. I don't want to check for the bonus that's going to make you fly more. Yeah, plenty of flights going on here. So it looks like, yeah, I just don't have anything. So let's back it up one more. Let's just see if they got anything from Seoul down to Atlanta on your date. I don't want to do a schedule search. I want to do a award booking. Hey, if you're not familiar with the layouts of these sites, you really need to spend some time. You see how I'm just flying around the Korean website? If I'm going too fast, remember you can always watch the replay on our YouTube channel, https://award.travel/YouTube. And you're going to bring our channel. You can watch it. Let's pick our date here. You said April the 14th. You got to be familiar with this. The only way, there's no shortcuts to great award travel. Like everything in our life today, people want now. You got to put the time in to be familiar with everything. Oh, I just clicked economy. You don't think you want that. Remember, for kicks and giggles after this, we can always search the Delta website. Hey, I'm telling you what, Korean is just not what it used to be, and that is pretty disappointing. Unable to find anything within 4 weeks of your search, even in economy. This is the new Korean, ladies and gentlemen. You probably haven't read about it anywhere except for my article on the Points Guy. Not what it used to be. It's not good. I don't like it. Wow, that used to be really reliable to find anything. I'm sure Delta's going to want 555,000 sky miles, but I'll tell you why I'm doing this here in just a second. You said April the 14th. Miles, one passenger. We're going to search. Hey, Delta's 5-week availability calendar is pretty great. So I'm not specifically interested in what Delta's going to say here as far as sky miles, but I am interested in a few other things we're going to take a look at. Delta's engine also takes quite a bit more time than it used to. So we don't want man caving. We'll switch down to Delta One, update results. Again, spend the time with these websites. You go like that. You got to speed up. You got to get familiar with the layouts. You got to know what you're going to click. A couple of you just give me the A-OK in the comments that you can hear and see my screen just fine. I don't have a moderator tonight. I just want to make sure you're seeing and hearing all this. So 220, 240,000, pretty much what I expected, but this little number right here is pretty interesting. Now, I know you said you wanted the 14th or 15th bin. I'm sorry, this looks like the best we're going to be able to do, and I'll tell you why this number is more important. I see a low-level availability like that. It's either going to tell me that it's through Korean Airlines or one of the China Eastern or China Southern people, or it's going to be a Delta-operated flight, which is even better, and I'll tell you why here in just a second. So where is our 80,000? Let's sort it by miles price. I don't want this match. Let's find where that 80,000 was. Wow, it's not even showing. What in the world? Well, this is weird. Cool, thanks for everybody telling me it's good to go. Everybody else saw that 80,000, right? Where did it go? What am I missing here? Uh-oh. Do we have a new glitch with Delta? Please, no. Here we go, 80,000. 2 stops, Korean Air, Hong Kong to Seoul, and then Seoul to Seattle, and then Seattle to Atlanta. So let's see, operated by Korean, and then we got Delta, and then we got Delta. So Ben, here's what I'm going to tell you. This is good for a couple of reasons. So we have Delta from Seoul to Seattle and Seattle to Atlanta. This is where you call Virgin Atlantic. Delta partner Virgin Atlantic has some really great mileage requirements for Delta operated flight that is always going to be cheaper than what Delta actually wants. So I would call Virgin Atlantic and say, hey, do you have Hong Kong or do you have Seoul to Seattle? Probably going to be like 50,000 miles for Delta One. Absolutely fantastic deal. See if they can add on the segment from Seattle to Atlanta for another 12,500. About 62,500 miles for business class Delta One from Seoul to Seattle, and then 12,500 from Seattle down to Atlanta. 62,500 instead of 80,000. Now you do have to get yourself from Hong Kong. But this more demonstrates kind of how you pace things together. In today's world, very rarely are you going to find exactly what you want on the date you want. It's great when it works out like that, but you need to be able to use tools like this to know, hey, Delta's got the lowest level of availability. Let's call Virgin Atlantic and pay cheaper than what Delta wants. So that's why this is a pretty good deal here. Your other options, Ben, Hong Kong, Cathay Pacific. Look at those American miles position on Cathay anywhere that they fly from Hong Kong in the U.S., Chicago, Los Angeles, San Francisco, now Dulles, Boston, New York, and then one hop down to Atlanta from there. Probably one of those days you're going to be able to get a Cathay business flight to one of those cities. I think they have 5 flights a day now into Newark and JFK, and then get another flight down to Atlanta will be my example. Philip says Delta Award search results don't sort correctly by price. Seen that bug many times. Yeah, I have seen where they don't sort it, but I haven't seen where their price is not there. We did find it in this case. But again, another great example about why you got to go and be familiar with these jokers. All right, let's go to the next one. Who do we have here? Denver to Moscow business class. This is Chris Barnett. Not through London, of course. Nobody wants to pay those surcharges, so can position in the U.S. Denver to Moscow. Hey, again, I'm going right back to the Wikipedia page. I am typing in the Moscow airport. Now, there are 2 airports in Moscow. One of them is the major one, starts with a D. Here it is. IAT code DME. You can also use SVO. Important. Now, there are some airlines that fly into a lot of them. All right. This is a smaller one. So let's go to SVO. You do have to have a visa to transit the Russian airports, so you can't even transit through there. Airlines and destinations. You know, my best results into Moscow have always been on SAS through Copenhagen. They typically have pretty good availability. Make sure they're still flying there. Scandinavian Air Service. It's going to be in there. KLM, Air France. Hey, Finnair through Helsinki. That's a great one. Specifically thinking Denver. You don't want to go through London, although they do have the nonstop Denver to London flight. If you want to position, you know, this is what I would do. Let's still stick with United. Let's see what they're going to say to get over to Moscow. I didn't catch your date here, July 12th. Let's check it out. Award travel. Remember, this is the important box on United right there. Award travel. Let's take a gander here. Man, this Blanton's bourbon is really good. I really do have fast internet. This is how much you make these websites work. Looking through these other things that we have here. Hey, by the way, had an absolutely fantastic trip. I hope everybody followed the group over the last 5 days as I busted around South America, Buenos Aires, and Rio. I did not have high expectations for Rio. It was amazing. Loved it, loved it, love it. I really want to go back rather quickly. Here's a good example of United.bomb or United.dumb, some people call it. It'll say we're unable to process your request up at the top. Don't believe them. Look, voila, here are the results down at the bottom. Don't know why it does that. Don't really care. Again, looking for business class, business first. You want to click here. Availability going through. 12th not available. 15th is really expensive. Let's bust out this 30-day calendar just to get a better idea of what you have going on here. Another thing to remember with United.com right now. It used to be where you could search segment by segment and call up the phone agents and piece your own award tickets together. 98% of the time, the phone agent is no longer going to let you do that. You have to go by what United.com gives you as an option. If you call in to price it yourself, it's going to say you got to pay per segment. Absolutely terrible, awful. I can't stand it. You can ask some phone agents to go back to the old system, but that's now almost 2 years old, and they're not going to do it for you. So you got to take what United.dumb says for you. I'll show you a few more tricks with working with this website after we take a look for Denver to Moscow. So on the 12th and the 15th, there's nothing really good. I'm just curious with these low taxes and fees, what examples it is giving you here, just to see if we can use another program to find that availability if it's not United Metal. These United Everyday Awards are killer. 155,000 one-way business class. Ah, golly, that's rough. Not like the good old days, I tell you. You're going to hear that a lot. Remember, do not believe this calendar. Always click on this search or sorting by business saver availability. First saver to see what comes up. Just to make sure that calendar does lie. Sometimes options come up. Oof, these all look like absolutely terrible options. I just sorted by stops. So 2 stops. We got Denver to Chicago, Chicago to O'Hare, and then you got Lot Polish O'Hare to Warsaw and then Warsaw to Moscow. This really interests me here, so here's what I'll do. I'll take O'Hare to Warsaw, and maybe there's just availability for like that. Because you can get yourself from Denver to Chicago, no problem. You can take low-cost carriers from Warsaw to Moscow, no problem. It's that middle section business class you're really curious about. So let's just search that on this date, and or actually all the dates, and see if we can get anything to show up around your dates that you want to travel. This is what you got to do in today's world. You get an idea of what's out there. You say, that's really interesting. I don't think off the top of my head I would have pulled LOT Polish Airlines from Chicago to Warsaw off my head. So let's see what that availability looks like for that long segment, and then we'll piece our way around that. And what do you know? There you go. Here, you got some saver availability on Lufthansa. One stop to at least get you over the pond on your intended dates. $9.10 is pretty good. We're going to go back to the 12th because this was the requester's original travel date. And we got one stop on Austrian. O'Hare to Vienna. Hey, look, here is your saver availability to get across the pond on your preferred date. Get yourself from Denver to Chicago. Now you're in Vienna. Hey, another excuse to see Vienna for a day if you've never been there. I'm sure there's plenty of low-cost carriers that fly from Vienna to Moscow. Let's actually go ahead and check that out and see what we can find. It looks like they're now forcing the new Google flights on you. You don't have a choice anymore. I'm going to go from Vienna to Moscow. We're going to make sure that it selects all the airports. We're going to go one way, and your intended travel date was on July the 12th. I'm just curious what these prices are myself. Done. UT Air. Hey, there is one I've never heard of, and VKO. That must be the third airport in Moscow. So, these aren't the exact flights you want to take, but this is more of a demonstration of what I do. I start with my exact perfect itinerary, Denver to Moscow. Of course, there wasn't anything there, one stop, not through London. But I saw, hey, maybe there's something from Chicago over to the Eastern Bloc in Warsaw. Well, now we found Lufthansa availability. Now we found Austrian availability on my preferred date. I can position from Chicago. I can make it into 2 trips to see Vienna, get up to Moscow through another program. Austrian, you can book with Star Alliance. Aeroflot, you can book with Delta Miles. And this is how you got to piece the things together in today's world. So a good example there of making something work if you have to travel on the dates that you have to travel. It's pretty good. Hey, Toshiba, thanks for tuning in. She just said I saw biz availability from Dulles to Sydney on AA for $80K. Yeah, you thought you hit the jackpot. I put that post up this morning how the airlines are taking advantage of the newbies. So what they're doing is they're saying, hey, look at this amazing availability we have. There's saver business there. I promise. You click on it. You think you're good. You start calling the wife, the husband. Hey, look, we got it. It's on our dates. Availability's wide open. And then you go and click on the individual flights, and it's long haul and economy, and it's the short domestic flight in first class. First. I still can't believe we call it first on domestic American flights. But that's what they're doing. That's how they're taking advantage of the people who get the sign-up bonuses in the airport or from the flight attendant saying bad information. They think, I got enough miles for business class to Sydney, and then they go and there's nothing there anywhere remotely close to the dates they want to travel. And of course, the layperson who's walking through the airport next to you has no idea any of the stuff that I'm talking about over here on my second monitor, and they just give up and they redeem 60,000 miles for Chicago to New York, around Thanksgiving. It is just so frustrating, and that's why I'm glad everybody's here in War Travel 101. Let's take another request. I'm going to go back up to the top here and see what we got. So Levi's being a little bit cheeky. He says, I need 5 business class seats from Sydney to LAX using membership rewards. Sorry, bud. It's not going to happen. I think you already have that booked anyways in economy. Good try, though. Hey, Dave says, from Buffalo, New York, get me somewhere with sunshine. That's a good one. So let's take a look here and see what I would do. If we want to go anywhere with sunshine from Buffalo, New York, and let's say you want to go as soon as possible because dadgummit, this winter will never end. Yeah, I got de-iced yesterday morning at JFK. It's almost April. We're still de-icing planes in the Northeast. That is pretty rough. I'm really curious where Southwest flies out of Buffalo because I don't know. Here's another great example of why you get to be familiar with these websites. Hey, I want to see the route map for Southwest. I got to know where you're going to fly. So let's take a look at the route map. Boom. I know to go right there and get all my options. I got some Chase Olson rewards. I can change over to Southwest Rapid Rewards, and I can book myself somewhere from Buffalo. So I obviously have no idea what the route is from Buffalo to Niagara Falls. We want to do nonstop only, of course. We don't want anything cheeky over here. Nonstop. from Buffalo. So, hey, look, we got a couple options down into Florida. So let's see what that is. This is what I do when people say, hey, I want to go somewhere. Oh my gosh, you can fly Fort Myers, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, or Tampa on Southwest. And I'm going to tell you right now, Fort Myers sticks out in my head for a few reasons. That is home to this lovely resort I'm going to show you here called Hyatt Coconut Point. This is airport code RSW for Fort Myers. It used to be the most overlooked international route to Europe. Air Berlin flew every day from Fort Myers to Dusseldorf. Nobody knew about that route. I always found clients seats transatlantic in business class on Air Berlin. Rest in peace. So Hyatt Regency Coconut Point Resort and Spa. This is a Category 4, absolutely outrageous redemption for your points. $12,000 a night. The rates can be ridiculously high during the peak seasons of spring break and summer. You're talking $400 or $500 a night. They have a great water park. They got a lazy river. They got a private beach that you take a little ferry over to. They got golf. They got everything you need there. They got a Regency Club, and it is fantastic. And it's right here down at RSW Fort Myers Airport. That's where you're going to go. Dave Muse. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong. MUZ. Buffalo down to Fort Myers. 12,000 Chase Ultimate Rewards. Transfer over to Hyatt. Boom. It's probably not going to cost you a lot of points at all to get from Buffalo down there on Southwest. So that is exactly what I would do. Michael agrees Coconut Point is awesome. Yep, pretty fantastic. All right, Andrea says Los Angeles or San Diego to London or Paris using Sky Miles. Ooh, June or October. I've read about doing a stopover using Sky Miles, which is not possible anymore, but wondering exactly how that would work. So you can't do that, Andrea, anymore, and you want to go from Los Angeles or San Diego to London. All right, I'm going to tell you a few great things about Delta. One is that their availability in economy is absolutely fantastic, and I have no idea why it continues to be overlooked. Remember, when you search London, LON, all London airports, not just Heathrow, LON is what you want to do. So you did not give me a date, so I'm going to pick one for you. Let's say it's even peak time in June. Let's put it into main cabin, and we're doing the flexible date search. Delta and partners, another important button right here on the Delta website. Let's go ahead and take a look. So people give me some more itineraries to throw up in the comments. Let me see what you want me to search. I'm going to do this for probably another 10 minutes before laying a few things of my own on you. Always want to go out to 5 weeks. I already saw some saver availability and economy there. If you got a family of 4, if you got a family of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, you need to have Sky Miles. That's right. I'm telling you, you got to have Sky Miles because the availability is typically fantastic for a lot of people on the same flight in economy. If you want to fly Delta One, forget about it. So look at this. So quite a few dates in May and June if you want to go for 30,000 miles. Even all the other dates are only 5,000 more. This is really a good deal. And look, nonstop, 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 nonstop. Nonstop. It's just fantastic. You know, let's bump this up to 5 people. Let's take it back a week in May. Let's say school's just getting out. Somebody's got a graduation. 5 people on the same flight, Los Angeles to London in May when people want to go in the spring. It's nice and not too hot yet. You just watched Tiger Woods win the Masters. You want to go celebrate in London. That's right. I got all my money on Tiger next week in Augusta. So look, all of these dates, 5 people, lowest amount, 30,000, 30,000, 5 people. You see it up here at the top, right? There's 5 people. Absolutely fantastic. I don't know why people don't look at this. People say Sky Pesos, blah, they're no good. I'm telling you what, I can't get enough Sky Pesos right now. I've retired Sky Pesos from my vocabulary. I believe in it so much. It's the way to go. If you're going to fly a family or a group of friends in economy overseas, you're going to have the Sky Miles. All right, Terry says New Orleans to Lima in early July for 2 people, not on United. So let's go ahead and take it over to a website you may not know about at lifemiles.com. This is for New Orleans down to Lima, Peru, not on United. So you might have to position on United. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, that's not really that long a flight. So if you get a saver availability, I don't think you could be too picky with it. I'm going to take this off the browser window real quick so that nobody steals my login information. I 100% trust all of the strangers on the internet these days. Cough, cough. And if you're not familiar with Life Miles, get familiar. I can never keep Life Miles in my account because I burn them, and true to form right there, there's 0 for you. They are now a city thank you partner. You want to use Airlines? Click. Let's take a look and see what we can find. What date did you tell me here? Early July. All right, you're a little bit flexible, so you're already doing it correctly. Yep, accept that goodness. We're going to go down to Lima. So Avianca is the Colombian airline in the Star Alliance. You will connect through Bogota a lot of the times. They do have some subsidiaries around South American continent. And sometimes you can get a little bit lucky. Did you say 2 people? Yep. Let's see what they got going on here. Now, Life Miles is a really unique program. You used to be able to do some amazing things because of some really bad programming they had. Fortunately, it's no longer possible, but you can still do some pretty neat things. Greg over at the Frankfurt Miler had an absolutely lovely article yesterday talking about how you can still hack this program. I like what I see here. 20,000 miles for 2 people. Let's take a look at the details. So this is on Copa. So look right here. First place we look, Terry. Life Miles, Copa Airlines from New Orleans down to Lima. And you're going to pay 20,000 miles a person. Hey, that's a cotton picking good deal right there. If I'm you, that's not too bad. Connecting Panama City. I had no idea that Copa flew from Panama City to New Orleans. Why does Copa fly that route? I don't know. Look, we just learned something new, and we found your saver availability. Look, you can even go in business class if you want on both of these airlines. Pretty great deal right there. This is Life Miles. If you don't have enough Life Miles, look at this cool little thing over on the right side. It's called Life Miles and Money. You can dictate how many Life Miles you want to use. The sweet spot is typically to use 60% of the Life Miles required and pay cash for the rest. That's where you're going to get maximum value. But there you go. 2 people, New Orleans down to Lima. First try, we took a look there, 20,000. Avianca Life Miles, they have a lot of buy miles promotions where you can buy a lot of miles for relatively cheaply. That's going to be a lot less than paying cash for the flight. But it's a pretty good deal. So there you go. Get familiar with Life Miles if you are not. Suzanne Walsh has a challenging one here. St. Louis to Montego Bay. End of July or August when everybody wants to go down. Without even looking at much, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, let's take a look at Southwest, because I'm pretty sure they fly there now. And from St. Louis, I definitely know they fly a lot of places. When you're booking Southwest, here's the tip. Always book one way, because you can change and cancel these for no reason. You need to have 2 separate itineraries for your outbound and your inbound. If anything happens on one, you can maintain the other one without any trouble. So, St. Louis, Montego Bay, you said the end of July when everybody wants to go there and things are outrageously priced. Perfect. I'm assuming you don't want to just go for one person, so I'm going to put 2. We're going to use points, and we're going to take a look and see what it is. Too bad Google Flights does not show these. So right here, the local fare calendar. If you are not familiar with that, you need to click on this. So it looks like 19,000 points, but very quickly, look at that. July 31st, 11,232 points plus $49 per person from St. Louis to Montego Bay. Whoever just asked this, book it right now. That's really cheap. That's when you want to go. It's one stop, St. Louis, Montego Bay, end of July, 11,232 points. Boom, book it, done, right there. Hey, David O'Can, one of our top contributors to Award Travel 1, says Montego Bay taxes are just awful. But it's $49. It's not. That's fantastic. It's wonderful. It's lovely. Book it. Go right now. Do it. He might be talking about the return. Maybe it's the departure tax I'm mixing. I don't know, David. Let me know. All right, Mary says, Houston to Narita business or first class using membership rewards. I am really glad, Mary Abbott Burks, that you just asked this, because I get to go to one of my favorite websites that too many people are still overlooking, and that is All Nippon Airways, who have an absolutely lovely award chart. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to log in order to do the award search. You got to be familiar with the Japanese websites. I lived in Japan for 3 years. The Japanese motto is, how much information can we get on a single web page that makes your head hurt? So award booking right here. Yeah, I got to sign in, which means I got to go over to my award wallet page. Wouldn't you guys and gals love for me to screen share my award wallet page? How many points and miles does this joker actually have? All right, I'm going to give you one peek. Are you ready? Here it comes. Here's my award wallet page with all of my points and miles. There it is. All right, do you see it? There you go. I am a mileage thousandaire. No, I have no balances to brag about like I preach all the time. Earn and burn. These things are going to depreciate at any given time. Why hold on and brag about them. I don't know. Award Wallet is logging into ANA for me, so that I don't have to worry about that. I absolutely love it. If you don't have Award Wallet, man, you are missing out. I'll tell you what. So it's logged in for me. Let's go to award booking. We want to go from Houston over to Tokyo. Mary said early September. So let's see what we got here. Houston is, of course, a Star Alliance city, the home of United Airlines. We want to go over to Tokyo and Narita. We want to select compare plus or minus a few days in early September. Tuesday. Nobody else wants to fly on a Tuesday. Let's do that. I assume you're going to stay for a week. We're going to do business class. We're going to do search. You can transfer membership rewards over to ANA. Give yourself a business week. So 7 business days just to be safe. Can you put them on hold before you transfer? No. Is it absolutely terrible? Yes, it is. But there's seats available on every single day in the first week of September. Look at this. Every single day has got seats available. So let's just go with what we have. If you haven't flown ANA, you really should. All right. Business class, 85,000 miles. That's round trip. You're looking at round trip on one of the best airlines in the world on their 777-300, one of the best business classes for a round trip total of 85,000 miles. I don't even care if taxes and fees are bad. That's 85,000 American Express points for round trip business class from Houston to Narita. Here's a couple things you got to look at for ANA. There's this little tab right here in the top left corner, waitlisted. Waitlisted. That is not a confirmed seat. You got to be aware of that. Okay. What you want to do is go back to the dates that we saw, and you want to look for the non-waitlisted. What is the key to get waitlisting open up? I don't know. Your guess is my guess. All right. So waitlisted. Just go back and look through the dates. You're going to find availability. ANA is really good with their own program. I just want to highlight this price that nobody talks about, or very few people talk about. That's not brought up near enough. I should really write about this more. And guess what? That's not even the cheapest it goes. There's a low, medium, and high season. In the low season, which is in April and I think January, it's going to be 75,000 miles round trip. Boy, that is absolutely cotton picking outrageous and something you need to be aware of. So, Mary, thank you so much for asking that question. Everybody transfer your membership rewards to ANA. Couple hiccups. Nothing's perfect if you want a deal that's good. Waitlisted space can be a pain in the butt, and you cannot lock in or hold an award ticket while you transfer your miles. You got to keep your fingers crossed that availability is going to be there by the time your miles show up. Typically, it's going to be because you're not facing much competition, because people don't talk or know about this, but it's an absolutely lovely program. All right, so I'm going to do a few things while we wrap it up here. Again, this is always available for replay on our YouTube channel. I'm going to log into Virgin Atlantic because I cannot get enough Virgin Atlantic miles right now. Please, please, please get familiar with this website, even though you can't do everything you want to do on the website. So, booking Delta with Virgin Atlantic. Before you ever book a Delta flight with SkyMiles, you need to either come to virginatlantic.com or you need to call Delta to try and see if they have availability. So, book a flight. You got to log in your flying club. This website is particularly finicky. All right, sometimes, so let's say I want to fly from Atlanta, my home base, over to Milan, right? So you type in Milan, you think, it's not there. Well, here's what you got to do. This little arrow right here is your best friend. This is going to allow you to force the city that you want. So I'm going to go down to Italy. I'm going to click on Milan and look, it does exist, okay? I'm always going to search one way. You're always going to find me searching one way. It's just so much easier to manage that way. Let's select a date, and the next problem you could potentially run into is pay with miles right here. Remember, we're using the Virgin Atlantic site to find Delta availability to pay with Virgin Atlantic miles, because Virgin Atlantic charges less miles to fly Delta than Delta charges in their own program. That can be a confusing concept to get your head around when you're just starting this. So let's hopefully see if they can find something for us in the summer. It's competitive, so there may not be, just like I expected. Hey, there's nothing there. You can't fly Atlanta using Virgin Atlantic miles. Let's switch all the way out to November, and hopefully we can find a route that's bookable on Delta. So we'll go back to that search engine. We'll take a look and see all the cities that are not in there, but it's just really fantastic. So no luck either here. Let's go out to December. Maybe there's something that you can book. This is Atlanta to Milan nonstop. Delta would definitely want 250 or 300,000 sky miles for this. I'm hoping we can find a date that you can book with Virgin Atlantic miles, and I'm not having any luck. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to switch up to Paris. So I type in CDG, Atlanta to Paris, and here is the problem I talked about. So it has grayed out the pay with miles option. Don't know why it does this. This is a bug with the website. It's extremely frustrating. What you have to do now is trick it into trying to get it to show. So I've got pay with miles from a previous search I did. That's up here in the top left button. It saves like the last 5 searches you did. So let's see if I can change this and hopefully maintain the button. So pay with miles is still good to go. Let's type in Paris and see what happens. And now it's back to pay with card, and pay with miles is grayed out. Sometimes this is just the way this website works. I'm telling you what, it's crazy frustrating. I'll go and start back over, but it's worth it in the end. So let's go Atlanta, and let's click on this little arrow here. Let's go down to country region. Let's go down to France, and let's do it this way. Paris, Charles de Gaulle. I'm going to do one way. Let's select the dates. Okay, and now pay with miles, I can do it. See, great example of how buggy this website is. People give up. Don't do that. Don't know why it does that, but boy, it drives you crazy. And even if after I choose the date, it could go back again and say, psych, just kidding. You got to pay with that. But now I'm good, okay? All right, so now we can do the award search. Welcome to the Virgin Atlantic website. Don't know why it does it. I'm searching Atlanta to Paris. I'm hoping to book a Delta flight with Virgin Atlantic miles, and it is not giving me anything that I want right now. Let's go out to October. Let's say October 10th. Sure, I don't know. Let's do 5 weeks. Pay with miles is still selected, even though it's grayed out. Welcome to the bugs of Virgin Atlantic. I'm searching October. Here we go. So several dates here that you can book, and these are probably all going to be Delta flights because it's only $5.60. It's got economy. Let's switch to upper class, and hopefully there'll be something here. All right, here we go. Here's one date. 16 October, 72,500 miles to fly Delta One from Atlanta to Paris. Stopping in EWR, actually, and that's why it's going to charge more. So, Delta Airlines, first is a 717, and then we're going to go over Delta 767-300. So let's just go back and search EWR to Paris on this date, actually, and we're going to get it to drop a little bit lower. So refine the search. Hopefully we can put in EWR. Remember, this website is super buggy. And we're going to go to France. Pay with miles, 5 weeks, October 16th. Let's see if we can get it for 50,000 miles in Delta One. Yep, here we go. All right. October 16th, Newark to Paris, 50,000 Virgin Atlantic miles for Delta One. This is a non-stop flight. Let's go to Delta and see what they want for this exact same flight in sky miles. Could be 80,000, could be more. Newark, Paris. October 16th, we said. Miles, one person. Let's take a look. And this will be the last example. Go to Delta One, non-stop. I am moving fast because I know where these buttons are. 70,000. All right, so Delta wants 70,000 sky miles for Newark to Paris non-stop. Here it is, 6:18 p.m., 7:55. 70,000 is too many. Let's pay 50,000. 6:18, 7:55 on the exact same flight. Before you ever book a Delta flight with sky miles, you need to go and check Virgin Atlantic, and you need to be familiar with the bugs on this site so that you can force these airport codes in. Pretty great stuff. If the Virgin Atlantic website will not show you the airports that you want, I'll give you an example here. I just tried to fly from Rio de Janeiro back to Atlanta. I booked a flight with Virgin Atlantic miles on a Delta operated flight, but you can see right here Brazil is not in the list. So this is somewhere where you have to call. You call Virgin Atlantic, you say I want to fly Delta Flight 60 from Rio de Janeiro to Atlanta. That's the actual flight number. And they're going to look for availability for you. It was 22,500 Virgin Atlantic miles, and Delta wanted 100,000 Sky Miles. 100,000 Sky Miles or 22,500 Virgin Atlantic miles, which are a Chase transfer partner for the exact same flight. So dadgummit, do not book a Delta flight without checking virginatlantic.com or giving them a call. Absolutely really cool stuff, and it's just something you got to be familiar with. So that was quite a few examples about how the brain works. Remember, the Wikipedia page is your best friend for finding all the potential routes and giving your brain some ideas about where to start. And from there, you just start looking segment by segment. So it's absolutely great. Yeah, so Robert says, as long as you're not using Flying Club to fly Atlanta. Right, no, so don't fly, or to fly to London. Do not use Flying Club miles to fly Virgin Atlantic. Use Flying Club miles to fly Delta or to fly Air New Zealand. Okay? Use it to fly partner airlines. If you go through London, it's going to be $500-600 in taxes and fees. Okay? Very important point. Virgin Atlantic is for Delta. Virgin Atlantic miles, are they for Virgin Atlantic flights? No, they are for Delta flights. Even domestically, really great deal, 12,500 Virgin Atlantic miles, when Delta often wants 30 or 40,000 Sky Miles for the exact same flight. Emily and I flew out to San Francisco, 12,500 Virgin Atlantic miles. Delta wanted 40,000 Sky Miles. Okay, before you book a Delta flight, check Virgin Atlantic. Cool, got it. All right, a lot going on in the group. Hey, I had an amazing time in Buenos Aires and Rio de Janeiro. I cannot believe that trip flew by so quickly, and it's really just the start of some travels coming up for me. Check the events tab. We've got the boot camp April 29th. If you want to know this crazy voodoo magic that I'm talking about, come hang out with me for 4 hours in Orlando, April 29th. It's going to be at the Hyatt Place. You get dinner. You're going to get to hang out with my moderator, Tony, as well. We're going to bring you up to speed over the course of 4 hours and dinner with how you start getting all this stuff organized. Check the events tab in the group for all of the information. Vegas, Memorial Day weekend, Zorkfest. You bring the best of casino gamblers, the best people who know how to work the magic in casinos. You bring some of us who know a lot about points and miles. You throw us together, and we are having an amazing ball on Memorial Day weekend in Vegas. Zorkfest events tab in the group. It's all there. You can always catch the replay of this and all of our other Award Travel 101 live sessions on our YouTube channel. Award.travel/YouTube is going to bring it up. Please subscribe. I really need to get that 1,000 subscriber minimum that YouTube likes, and would appreciate all of your help. Besides that, support the group. Get your next rewards earning credit card through the links in the pinned announcement. Remember, pinned announcement, it tells you all the group rules. It tells you how to get a post approved. It tells you where you can search for information before you submit a post, because it's probably going to be there in the group. Thanks everybody for following along. Hope you picked up a few tips tonight. Same time, same place next week, Award Travel 101 Live. I'm going to go take a nap. See you later.